Stephen Colbert attacked RFK Jr. and his health plan.
We still don't know the entire parade of clowns, degenerates, and in-laws that Trump will have running this country, but one guy we know will have a major role is RFK Jr. This whale-decapitating, bear-dumping, walking, talking worm cemetery is who Donald Trump wants to put in charge of our nation's health. Here he is last week.
Robert F. Kennedy cares more about human beings and health and the environment than anybody. I'm going to let him go wild on health. I'm going to let him go wild on the food. I'm going to let him go wild on medicines.
Oh, good. Because that's exactly how I like my medicine. Wild. It's just like the directions on the pill bottle say, go crazy balls every 2 to 4 hours with food. And, right? Just freak out. Freak out twice a day. And RFK Jr. is ready for his wilding. Here he is yesterday talking about food deregulation.
Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients, and you go to Canada and it's got 2 or 3?
Now, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. There were no worms lining up to eat portions of my brain, but I went to the Kellogg's Canada website, and it turns out the Canadian Fruit Loops actually have 26 ingredients. And that doesn't even count the gravy, which Canadians use to make fruitine.
Despite not getting the exact number of ingredients right, RFK is specifically talking about the food coloring and other damaging chemicals used in children's food. Here's the list of ingredients of the United States versus Canada's box of Fruit Loops. Here's the US versus Germany. If you notice the colors, the US box looks a lot better. But that's because they use harmful chemicals that have shown to have negative effects on children. But I'll let RFK himself explain that.
Restaurants that serve contaminated food are fined or shut down. But when it's the government that approves the poisons in our food, a few people get very, very rich, and the toxins end up in every supermarket aisle. The ingredients include a lot of poisons, including a harmful yellow dye called tartrazine, or yellow dye number 5. What you may not know is that this dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. And I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic and it's so harmful to the environment and human beings. Didn't know back then that this yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD. Well, we know it now. We've known this for decades. That's why tartrazine is heavily restricted in other countries. In some countries, foods with tartrazine have a warning label that it may cause ADHD in children. I've been picking on tartrazine today, but that's just one of at least 100 chemical poisons that our health agencies allow into our children's food. If we took all of these chemicals out, our nation would get healthier immediately.
Of course, Stephen Colbert just hates Donald Trump, so no matter what, he's going to make baseless attacks on anyone in his campaign, and it's also no surprise since RFK will be cracking down on Big Pharma, specifically Pfizer, and Colbert is bought and paid for by Pfizer. That would explain why he's so against getting rid of these harmful chemicals from children's food, and instead of focusing on the benefits that RFK's plan will have, he would rather attack him and distract from the main topic. He's a typical corporate leftist sellout whose only purpose is to make his donors happy. Had Donald Trump and RFK been supporting children changing their own gender, he would have been on board. But since it's about protecting children's health, he doesn't care.